Okay, welcome. I'm so glad
Thank
that
you.
we're doing this right now. I am so
Yeah, me
glad that we're
too.
doing this right now.
Me too.
Um,
Good to be here.
so let's just go straight in, bro. Why don't you share with people who you are and what you do,
Sure. Yeah.
and then we'll just go from there and we'll just roll with it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, my name is Jean-Luc and I am a follower of Jesus. I love Jesus. I've been following Jesus for over 20 years now. Um, Makes you sound old.
Yeah, you don't look old.
What is that? Yeah, so loving Jesus for 20 years. I'm married, father, and currently I'm working as a chaplain. And so that's working with at-risk young people as well as a counselor as well. So two kind of dual roles, a little bit similar to each other. Um, but yeah, that's the gist generally about me. My life is centered around Jesus, family,
Yeah,
um, and just doing what he's called me to do in this season. So that's
awesome.
essentially the focus of my life, which is fun.
Yeah, that's
But
what's
yeah,
up.
it's great.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, it's great. The reason I got you on is because we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
And I thought, who better than to start with somebody that I trust, who has been a faithful friend to me, and you just know your stuff when it comes to, as you said, helping people, loving people, walking with people through life stuff, journeying with people through life stuff.
Yeah.
And so this whole podcast is about where pain meets a person's second chance. So
Mm,
if you could share a story with us or times in your life where you've faced that, where conflict that you've been through has collided with faith and it's turned into a second chance, that would be super helpful for people to hear.
yeah. As I was thinking and praying into it, I thought, what are all of the stories that I could go through,
Yeah.
and what came to the mind, and I kind of needed to trust God in this. Is really the second chance that a lot of people don't necessarily get. It's that kind of that private wrestle. So I'll share the story, and there were several stories that kept on kind of adding up in terms of God leaving breadcrumbs for me. And it's
Yeah.
really connected to the conflict that I had with my relationship with God very early on. So become saved, and I encountered Jesus. It's a really weird encounter with Jesus. Like, I remember being 12 and around maybe 11 and a half, and our church in the Congo, where I come from, we used to have like a once a month all night prayer. One of these nights, I think it was New Year's Eve, I go, Jesus, in my heart, I was a kid. I go,
Yeah.
Jesus, if you get me out of this country, I'll serve you for the rest of my life. Private prayer.
Wow.
No one else heard it, but I remembered it. And Jesus heard it too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so I get baptized. That was my way of saying, Jesus, I'm yours. I get baptized
Mm.
that night, and not too long after that, through circumstance, we end up being refugees and then coming to Australia. And I had forgotten all about that prayer. Um, and I'm in Australia, learning a brand new language, trying to adjust to school. What's going on?
Wait, wait. So you didn't speak English at all when you came? Really,
No,
bro?
I
Can
had a
you can you
book
still speak?
that
Can
was
you
trying
still
to.
speak? Sorry, go ahead.
I had a book that I was using to try and get myself going from like French to English. Um,
Yeah. Wow.
but
So
yeah,
your native language was French.
no, Swahili.
Swahili. Can you still speak it?
Yeah. Oh, tiny bit. It's been over 20 years, and
Yeah, bro.
um,
I didn't know that about
yeah.
you. Wow.
The old things you're finding out.
Yeah, man. Well, I didn't know. Like, I knew that you come from the Congo, like Congolese brother, but I didn't know
uh,
that you didn't speak English when you came here.
no, no. I had Swahili and then French, and so English was a third language. Yeah, so
Wow.
and I was 2004. I was turning 14. It's the year I turned 14 that I came in Australia. So I had quite a lot of learning to do. Um, yeah, and culture shock. I came in winter. I never experienced cold like this. So anyway, that first year, wild times. I'm just trying to adjust the culture. I'm trying to figure out who I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be. I had a whole plan um, back in Congo, but yeah, so everything changes. And God had not forgotten the prayer, even though I did.
Yeah.
And so I get connected with local youth group. I think it's like Gilwin Baptist. They had a
Mm.
youth program, and I don't know, somehow through my neighbor, I got involved in a little bit of that, and then we ended up going to the urban youth camp. And so that first one is where I encountered Jesus powerfully,
Mm.
differently to how I did when I got baptized. But I have that encounter, and things kind of come back around to a sense like I'm aligned with God, and all my desires, everything that I wanted in that first year of coming to Australia completely flipped. Didn't want to do
Yeah.
any of the things that I wanted to do. I was listening to like early 2000s rap music, thinking like this is the life.
Yeah, man.
I
Same.
brought the I bought those those fluoro fake baseball jerseys that not baseball, NFL jerseys that people wear with the big fluoro pants and the big numbers, and you're thinking, I can't even rap, bro. But
Bro.
I'm just I identify apparently with this group of people, and they live in America.
Yeah. Bro,
So,
I used to wear, my brothers are gonna laugh when they see this. I used to wear the Rough Riders like puff jackets
oh, bro,
with the come on, bro. No, I'm talking silver puff jackets, right? And I used to wear the
Ew.
FUBU jeans, the baggy FUBU
The
jeans, bro. Yeah,
FUBU
man, yeah, dude, bro. I used to think I was a G, and
slippers.
it, nah, nah, no way. I got teased. I walked down to the park because I got this new Rough Rider jacket, and I went down to the park, and my brother
Yeah.
laughed at me, man. I was just like, oh, dude. Anyway, back to your story, man. So I relate to that era. 100% I relate to
So
that
many
era, bro.
people will be feeling the cringeness of that. Um, so yeah, anyway, so I kind of got at this count. It was just the power of the encounter was that I could not recognize myself from before to after the camp in that encounter. And so that happens, and my life just changed. My desires are not the same. I'm like, I want to please God. Ew, what is that? Who are you? Kind of thing. What happened to the rap? And I'm like, nah, I love worship and I love the presence. And I just can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
And so that's ongoing. And same thing in the second year. So at some point, I think it's after I finish high school. So I'm still a few years in, super young Christian,
Mm.
essentially. And I'm involved in church, and some of the things that are and part of the language and what I'm exposed to are a lot of people talking about how God is speaking to them quite regularly, and they're encountering God, and this is what they're saying. And by this time, I think I've been, like people say, become a Christian, everything in your life will become better, and it's not. What does better mean? It's not true in the sense of you won't get a carte blanche of life will just be cool and breezy.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite. The ugliness of our souls gets exposed, and also because we're not actually going with the flow of the world, we become enemy number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
does I think it was so that first year powerful encounter. Second year was another encounter and another camp, and I felt a real sense and call towards purpose in God. So that happens, but then after that, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do Bible college, take a year out do an internship at my church, and during that entire time, I'm battling with depression, suicidal thoughts, and suicidal ideation. I can remember some of
Wow.
those days and what they look like, um,
Mm.
and I'm thinking like, Jesus, this is not what I signed up for. I don't want this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like there was a ton of, so you're thinking 2008-ish. It's not like there's a lot of talk about mental health or when you're going through a hard time, reach out, talk to people, etc., etc. There's not a lot of that
Yeah.
going on. And plus added onto that, the fact that I'm new to this country, so I don't really understand the system. Um,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Wow.
I barely know the language. I'm 3-4 years in.
Mm.
So, yeah, so all that's going on. And I remember at the end of one of those years, um, I was in one of the offices in the church building. And I think I was in the middle of cleaning up. And then I had a little bit, it was in the middle of an internship. I had a little bit of time left before I needed to go home. And anyway, by that time, I'm, I'm sensing like, there's dryness. I haven't really felt connected to Jesus
Mm.
for a while and been caught up in the busyness.
Mm.
And so, also at the same time, there are a mixture of examples of people talking about God, receiving the word. Um, and so there was a build up of some jealousy over that, some
Mm.
resentment as well. Like, God, why aren't you talking to me? You know, you've turned my life upside down. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I feel abandonment. So
Wow.
show up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I've been raising my hands in worship. I've been doing all the things, reading my Bible. So all that's going on. And so that afternoon, I remember it clearly. I gave God an ultimatum. I said, Jesus, I'm not moving
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
you meet with me.
Wow.
Now, and it's one of those kind of moments that I'm desperate because I'm giving God an ultimatum. Like, show up. I'm not moving. But I didn't really think it through. So
Yeah,
in a
man.
place where like, what are you going to do? You're going to spend the night here? I didn't think about any of that. All I knew, like, is this the
Bruh.
hill to die on, right?
Yeah,
That's
dude.
perspective. But at the time, I was so desperate in going, and so feeling spiritually malnourished, that I had equated giving to like I'm supposed to get something back from God.
Mm.
And why am I not? And why am I seeing everybody else get it?
Mm.
But the flip's happening.
Yeah.
So there was my ultimatum. I want what I want and what I want. And through that entire time, like 2 hours at least, I'm there thinking, why should I not want this? Why does it feel like what I'm wanting is wrong? Does
Mm.
God love me? Why doesn't I'm making the time, I'm making the space. Where are you? What are you doing?
Mm.
And all the while in mind, I'm having this sense of like, this is going to be a powerful encounter. It has to be a powerful encounter. So,
Man.
for lack of better words, my experience at that time looked like for a lot of people, experiences where they get to this place where their walk with Jesus hinges on them getting something from Him that looks a specific way.
Yeah.
And then it's different for different people, but we all have the ultimatum moments. the
Yep.
put God in a corner moment,
Yep.
and then you go perform. And
Mm.
I remember after the 2 hours, I'm weeping, I'm crying, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm resentful, I'm jealous, I am confused,
Mm.
and nothing happens.
I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm. I'm. I'm not laughing at that.
Yeah.
What a beautiful lad down. Sorry, bro.
You know what that moment felt like?
Yeah, brother.
Have you seen Don't You and Kevin Hart moment?
Yeah.
You know me, I'm 54. Damn!
Yeah, man.
That's what that felt like.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Yep. Yep. That's a bummer right
So,
there, bro. That's a lot to handle. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I don't know how I found the courage to get up or the strength to get up or any of that.
Mm.
And I didn't know it was really hanging in the balance because I wasn't exposed to all these other stories of other people who have been months, years, or whatever into a routine and into a rhythm of giving and giving and giving, all the while at the same time having lost a sense of connection with God. And maybe
Mm.
it was that I didn't really want to acknowledge it, and so I'm like, oh, maybe if I just keep the works mentality. If I just,
Yep.
but I could not escape what I had encountered at first, which was the presence of Jesus, and I knew what that hunger felt like,
Mm.
and I just did not bring myself to think that, hang on, I can just keep on giving, 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 and it'll just be okay because that's I come from a fairly relational culture and background. And so
Mm.
connection, I know the difference between connection um, and just like a more interactional relationship. When I
Yep.
met God, it was acceptance, it was belonging, it was you're welcome here. And
Right.
so
Like a new identity.
whole new identity, sonship, right? And here I am, years into following Jesus and giving him an ultimatum because somewhere along the way I forgot what that felt like.
Mm.
And looking back now, I know that my relationship with God was on the line because now I've seen the testimonies. I've seen the people who they come away from experiences like that. Or I raised my hand the 50th time in church and just it felt like the other 1,000 times and
Yep.
there was nothing. And that's what I had reduced relationship with God to, that
Mm.
feeling.
Yep.
And
So
so
would you say like you chased a feeling, or
I
is
did.
that what you were doing? You were chasing a feeling,
I
or
did.
rather
I
than
was
like a
chasing a
relationship,
feeling rather than, yeah, yeah. I was
rather than a
definitely chasing a feeling.
relationship.
I mean, I've come from the charismatic background. So
Same.
there's, there's no, and part of the thing that made it super tricky is the reality of being exposed to testimony and continual talk about Jesus and his presence as he's always talking. I felt like this and I felt like that, and these incredibly well kind of structured spaces where it can become really easy to mistake emotion for presence of Jesus.
Yeah, man.
One of the things that later on in my 20s ish, I made a point to ask quite a few people, do you know the difference? Do you know the difference between your emotion and the presence? Because
Yep.
that is so key. There's such a stark difference that doesn't matter how much emotion you feel, you experience, it never substitute. It never
Yeah.
does, because I felt the emotions, and
Yeah.
yet I was in a place where I'm stuck, and I'm going, I know I've met Jesus,
Yeah.
and it's not enough.
Yeah. Bro,
You know.
just just to go off that like put a thing there. I was listening to this testimony of this dude talking about this very thing, and he was saying how he would go to a church gathering and they would have the lights, they would have the band, and the music would just touch him, right? And so in his emotions, he would feel, you know, the presence of God. Yeah. But then he
Hmm.
said, but then he said this. He said, but then me and my wife had tickets to a Beyonce concert,
Oh boy.
and we were there amongst the crowd, 30,000 people, and she starts singing this song, right? And I feel the same tingles and emotion with a Beyonce song that I felt in church. And then he went, hold up, is it God or
Yeah.
is that just my emotions?
Yeah.
And he said, and it scared me. He said, it scared
Yeah.
me. He said, because what do you do with that? How do you discern or how do you know what is actually God and his presence, or
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
just my feelings? And
Spot
we
on.
live in a culture, unfortunately, where we're so led by our feelings and our emotions or things that go
Hmm.
down.
Yeah.
Bro, I've struggled with that. I think everybody
Yeah.
struggled with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention that because that's a classic example of, I think a lot of people have been there. That's why I'm mentioning it.
And that's why I bring up at least this part of my walk with God, is because these are the moments where, when it all comes to a halt, and you start to examine, well, actually, what is this? Then, for me, it was a matter of, do I question then everything else? Do I question the change that clearly happened? And it was not an emotional change. I could not help.
Mm,
I just could not help. I didn't want to do the things that I was doing before encountering Jesus. So I knew the difference between that and an emotion, because I'm melancholic. Like, I listen to the love songs. I love the love songs. You know, don't
me
don't
too,
love
brother.
your job. Don't love your
Yeah.
love. Love your love. Um,
Oh, bro.
I listen
Cringe,
to
brother.
them. It
Yeah. Yeah.
it so I was part of the worship team, and I know that God moves and uses our emotions, and they help and they serve. It's no different from somebody putting on a playlist to hype them up from the gym. There's an importance in emotions being involved in the experiences that we're having. So it's no difference. There was David instituted um, for people to be in the temple playing worship all
Yeah.
day and all night. Like, it's super
Mm,
important. But it's that easy substitute of, oh, this becomes the substitute for God.
mm,
For a lot of people, it's are we honing our spiritual sense and discernment, and know when we've gone hungry, when we've been starved, and a worship song's not going to do it, a cute prayer is not going to do it, shabba-dabba-doo is not going to do it, an encouragement from a brother is not going to do it. It's going to
yeah.
take the presence. It's going to take an encounter with
Mm,
Jesus.
mm,
And that's what I was after. I didn't know that that is specifically what I was after, because I had my own idea of what that was. And I didn't know how much was hanging in the balance with what I was asking, because I was also setting myself up to, if God doesn't show up, the degree of disappointment that I ended up picking myself up with on that floor on was enough to threaten whether or not I was going to continue following Jesus. because he didn't show up for me the way that I expected him to show up for me, as he had for all of these other people who have said I have had encounters with Jesus. Um,
Yeah.
so
Do you think
I say that going.
do you think that um do you think that people who experience stuff like that secretly in their heart are acting entitled to God? Like God owes them something. Do
Of
you know what I
course,
mean?
of
Like
course.
you owe, like if I put, like I'll give you an example. It's like a person showing like a little amount of faithfulness, a little amount of consistency, but then they expect the the massive reward for the little that they put in. And they have that entitled attitude to go, well, God, don't you say that you take care of the ones that love you? You know, don't
Yeah,
you? And there's that back and forth, and you're like, hold on a second. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think
I
that
mean,
could be at play as well, bro.
yeah. Speaking from now looking back, I would say that I went in with that mentality of God. It's not so much. I don't remember whether or not I would have said because of what I'd done. I knew that I had been serving for quite a while and giving. I don't know whether or not I was expecting anything kind of like an exchange in that way. Um, but I knew that it, it felt as if I was saying, God, you owe me to show up, not because of what I'd done. You just owe me to show up because you got me in this,
Yeah,
and I have
yeah,
nothing. Like, I have
yeah,
nothing else.
yeah.
So why aren't you showing up?
Mm,
What's going on?
mm,
Um, yeah. So yeah, maybe yeah. That's the angle I would say. And maybe for other people, it's definitely the exchange of I've done this for you. I've scratched your back.
mm.
Where's what I'm due? Um,
Yeah,
and so there's a couple of other sort of instances and scenarios which later on got elaborated. So thank God he kind of held me somehow
yeah,
through this.
yeah,
But that mentality was pretty pervasive of God needs to show up, especially when I'm having a hard time. It was pretty pervasive. And there's a couple of other instances where this was shown up for me because essentially it was leading me down a path of crafting a genie or a vendor god or let me just cash that bad boy in today, God. And I'm gonna pull
yeah,
on every freaking heartstring that I can. Don't you love your children? Didn't you say this in your word? All the things that we use to try and manipulate God into doing what we want him to do, when we want him to do it, how we want him to do it, because we've asked him to do it, and because we're really, really, really special, and because that would be a great favor to him for our lives to look really good.
yeah,
And we're so great with those ideas.
yeah,
So,
man.
oh man, thank God for his patience. So
No
one
doubt.
of these instances, there was
Noah's
a
Ark?
oh jeez. So yeah, so one of these other instances where this mentality is shown up is with the kind of big buy-in for a lot of churches with the Rob Bell when he was massive in the
Oh,
church
yeah.
circles, and he
Oh, yeah.
writes
Let's
the
go there.
book,
Let's go there, bro.
and he
Let's
writes
go
the
there.
book Velvet Elvis, right? And
Mm,
one of the analogies that he uses, it's been a while now that I visited the book, but I do remember the specific lesson that God teaches me through this. And one of the analogies he uses is life with God is supposed to be a little bit like a golden trampoline. You know, if you think about yourself on a trampoline, it's all joy. You might go up and down, but really, it's bouncy. It's wonderful. You're supposed to feel just altogether wonderful. Um, and I'm like, still in my infancy as a Christian, so it's still fairly early. And we're watching Numa videos, and this guy's just, he's sounding so eloquent and well spoken. What a communicator! And he speaks so mysteriously that you think you understand, and you're in,
Mm.
you're in. But looking back, obviously, I see differently. And he writes about levels, and I'm super passionate because I like to read. So I'm super passionate about reading, and I read this, and I'm explaining this to and a guy who's an older Christian, and he's gone through quite a bit of stuff in his life that would tell him actually life as a Christian sucks a bit. There's
Yeah.
suffering, and God doesn't shield us from that. And suffering looks
Mm.
different for different people.
Yeah.
For me, the first, looking back now, for the first 2-ish years of my Christian life, as in post, when I started doing the internship and do Bible college, I would have, I would have clearly, because that's when this happens, this automatic thing, I would have clearly been diagnosable with depression. I was at
Wow.
risk. I was like, suicidal. I remember days when we're driving on my friend's car, and I'm just thinking, down by near Reed Highway, and I'm just thinking I could just jump out. We're going 90 k's per hour. I might
That's
die.
heavy.
I mean, that's stupid because I probably would have survived and, and had all these injuries. But to me, it was like this could end it.
Mm.
So it's almost like, and God did an incredible work in that. He actually somehow, as he does, I can't put it to anything else apart from God.
Yeah.
He saved me, literally saved my mind. I should be insane. I should have lost my mind. I should be dead, either on like every depression medication, left, right, and center.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I do not know how I wasn't even exposed to drugs by then, because I knew some people who had tried this stuff, and like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
literally do not know. Given the amount of pain and psychological pain, emotional pain that was going on, and just that, yeah. Anyway, so I read Velvet Elvis. I'm like renewed, kind of like, yes. Where is this life of, I want it. I want my trampoline. I want my golden trampoline. And so I'm talking to this guy about it, and he goes, "Hey, bro, you just gotta be careful with things you read because." I don't think that's quite accurate.
Mm.
And it hit me like a truck. What do you mean I'm not supposed to write
His
to
oh, so
believe?
his
He's
pushback
like,
hit you?
he's pushing back.
Yeah.
And I'm on my trampoline. Some dude's just pushing me off my trampoline. How dare you? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You know?
We'll
Um,
keep walking, buddy. Keep walking.
yeah. Like imagine you after you battle depression, after you've been through it, and you've had all this crap happen, happen. You've changed countries, whatever. Queuing all the things that should be a reason for me to be perpetually down,
Mm.
and God just absolutely miraculously through it again. Powerful encounter, but not filled with fanfare and none of that.
Yeah.
Um, that's a story for another day. But he literally wipes my mind, um, and renews, not wipes, renews my mind so that
Mm.
it becomes redeemed for him. And
Yeah.
little did I know this was part of the story.
Yeah.
He's going,
Yeah.
that's not the right direction. I'm not all trampoline, lollipops, and fairy flops. Fairy floss. terrified. So he sends me this guy, and this guy's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, let me push back a bit on you."
Mm.
And he was gentle. He was very kind. He said, "It's not actually all that. There is suffering. You got to have room for suffering." And I was super offended. I was like,
Mm.
"Who do you think you are? This is on the inside. Who do you think you are?
Mm.
Jesus is supposed to," and so it takes me back to the expectation that I had of God, and I was
Yeah.
supposed to be going, you know, on my way to the bank and cashing in the next whatever from God,
Mm.
and He comes in and He says, "Actually, make room for suffering," and I guess the where it got cemented firmly for me was that there was pretty much a mother of faith, and one day she comes and she has a chat with me, and she's talking to me, and she says, "Here's something for you too, a word of wisdom and advice, and have a think about learning to suffer well."
What does that mean? Like,
You tell me.
what do you what when you heard that? Like, when someone says suffer well, like,
Yeah,
what does that
yeah,
mean, man?
yeah.
You know?
Learn to live in the grace that God has for you
Mm.
in whatever circumstance.
Mm.
And believe that actually He has given us, as His scripture says, everything we need for a life of godliness. Everything.
Yeah. Mm.
Right now.
Mm.
When Peter writes it, he's not going, "You're going to have it. Just keep believing."
Yeah, man. Yeah.
you, you know, hey, 5 more prayers.
Yeah.
He's
It's
given
hard,
us
man.
everything.
It's hard because, as we know, like suffering, man, like, yeah, as you said, depression, wanting to end it. Um, think
Yeah,
about it. Like,
yeah.
you go, everything within me just wants to escape that feeling.
So you can see how I hooked on the freaking trampoline, bro.
So that's
Where's my
like, so Rob,
trampoline?
so really what happened? Rob Bell throws you a lifeline and goes, here's a handball of
I
deconstruction for
heard
you.
the
You know what I'm saying,
lifeline, bro.
brother? Yeah, man. And that might, and a person can eat that and just go, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. I relate to that. And then they go, have someone come up and go, nah, you need to think. Critical thinking is not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
That's hard though, bro.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the
Yeah.
thick of it and you want to escape suffering, that's all your mind's focused on is how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this pain that I'm feeling? And what does it mean to suffer well? You know?
Yeah. And where's the God that we keep on preaching about, who is, you get your breakthrough and you get your breakthrough and that person got their breakthrough and believe and you will get the breakthrough like this person and this person and this person and this person. Where's that God? Where is it?
Yeah.
Um, where is it?
Yeah.
And that was what was going on, and and an ongoing question, because
Mm.
what I don't know, the illusion that I had was life was going to always get better and always get better and always get better.
Mm.
And that's what God owed me. And that's what I'm supposed to expect from God.
Mm.
And then stuff happened,
Yeah.
life got harder, and I'm dealing with mental health problems
Mm.
while going, it's not supposed to be like this. And then I find Revelevers
Mm.
and Christians who've been going through it and have actually been reading the Bible instead of rebel.
Mm.
They go, take a look at Paul, take a look at Christ himself.
Yeah.
And it shatters me. And I'm like, I've got to think, like, how did I not see it? How did I not see it? What
Yeah.
did I sign up for? These dudes died for what they believed in.
Yeah, man.
Sheesh. Oh man. At the same time, at the same time, one of my other friends we're doing internship with, and he's reading about all this persecution. So Jesus Freak, we talked a little bit about that book as well. It came out, and he's looking at all these martyrs. He's looking through history, all these martyrs, and he's like, "Man, I just want God to call me to go into places where I'm going to be in danger, for His gospel." And I'm like, I came from those places, and I don't want to go back.
That's yes, dude. Oh man.
I'm like, I came from suffering. Why would you choose that?
Yeah,
No.
man. Yeah, bro. I
Oh
don't
my gosh.
understand that.
So everything I grew up with, a lot of the things, not everything, a lot of things that I grew up with, the disadvantages, if you would call it, developing nations, everything that's going on there, set me up to want a God who would be shielding me from suffering.
Mm.
So rebel was super appealing, and you know, suffering while complaining was and grumbling was more appealing than learning to walk with God, who walks with you in the valley of the shadow of death and doesn't take away the danger immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes He's not even interested in doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, can I read a psalm?
Yeah,
Please. Let me read a psalm. I know this is off script, but hey, this is what it is. Off script.
I like that.
I read this the other day. Give me 2 secs.
Yeah.
Talk about suffering, man. Talk about lament.
Mm.
This is where you'll find it in the scriptures. All right. Yeah, check this out. Psalm 38. Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger or discipline me in your wrath. Your arrows have pierced me and your hand has come down on me. Because of your wrath, there is no health in my body. There is no soundness in my bones because of my sin. My guilt has overwhelmed me like a burden too heavy to bear. My wounds fester and are lonesome because of my sinful folly. I am bowed down and brought very low. All day long I go about mourning. My back is filled with searing pain. There is no health in my body. I'm feeble and utterly crushed. I groan in anguish of heart. All my longings lie open before you, Lord. My sighing is not hidden from you. My heart pounds. My strength fails me. Even the light has gone from my eyes. My friends and companions avoid me because of my wounds. My neighbors stay far away. Those who want to kill me set their traps. Those who would harm me talk of my ruin. All day long they scheme and lie. I am like the deaf who cannot hear, like the mute who cannot speak. I have become like one who does not hear, whose mouth can offer no reply. Lord, I wait for you. You will answer. Lord my God, for I said, do not let them gloat or exalt themselves over me when my feet slip. For I am about to fall, and my pain is ever with me. I confess my iniquity. I am troubled by my sin. Many have become my enemies without cause. Those who hate me without reason are numerous. Those who repay my good with evil lodge accusations against me, though I seek only to do what is good. Lord, do not forsake me. Do not be far from me, my God. Come quickly to help me, Lord, my Savior. The part that says, my heart pounds, my strength fails, right? This part, I am like deaf who cannot hear. How many
Yeah.
people in suffering, right, have felt like they're deaf?
Yeah.
They're going, Lord, do you not see? Do you not hear? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why don't you help me?
Yeah.
It's lament.
Exactly.
It's grumbling. It's exactly what you're talking about with like, I cried out to you, I'm going to give you an ultimatum, and then nothing happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like this little by little, step by step process of this whole
Yeah.
thing getting revealed. And when you read stuff like that in the book of Psalms, you go,
Mm.
oh man, that's as real as it gets
Yeah.
for people in anguish, and
Yeah.
suffering. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
And
just wanted to read that, man.
that's awesome because it's a really good description. And part of, as I've been thinking and praying about it, and some of those words are, we can talk about relationship to pain as well. But um, as I've been thinking, like, God, I could have, talked about anything else. Why this? I think it's one of those pivotal moments that stays in my mind because when we walk away from God, it's slowly, it's over time. Faith gets chipped away, doubt after doubt after doubt after doubt. It's not a big fanfare. It actually happens, and slowly, and then you kind of look back and you go, how did I get here?
Yeah.
For me, this was one of those key moments where God was changing the trajectory of what relationship with Him was supposed to look like, so that I would actually realize He is God. I'm not.
Mm,
He's not at my mercy.
mm,
He's not at my beck and call.
mm.
Um, this is a really interesting question that John Piper asks, and I'm going to butcher it. But what is it that is at the bottom of our faith? Is it that God makes much of us, or is it that God makes much of us so we get to make much of Him?
Wow. What a
What's at the
question.
bottom? Who's at the center? Who is the foundation? Is our
Yeah.
faith built on us as the rock or on Christ? Um,
Come on, man.
what are we falling on? Like, if we fall, are we falling on Jesus Christ as our rock, or will He fall on us ultimately at the end when He returns and crush us? One will heal us, the other will crush us, because every knee will bow and tongue confess.
Yeah.
And the weight of His glory will crush His enemies. It will happen.
Yeah.
And we have a choice of
Yeah.
whether or not we fall on Him as the rock, because He puts us back together, right? You put me
Yeah.
back together. So the psalmist
Second
says,
chance.
yeah, right. And when I'm putting Him on trial, you know,
Mm,
um, it's it's childish, yes. It's immature. It's also an opportunity to kind of revisit and to relook at actually who's in charge. Because
yeah.
the other part of this journey of walking with God and saying the prayer that I said and then forgetting and then Him reminding me and going, no, I'm going to take you on your word.
Mm,
um,
mm.
and over the years, I've looked back and kept looking back, and it is it is baffling. And Aaron, I cannot express this. Like, I don't know how to explain this. But when I say I should not be alive, there is no doubt in my mind about the reality of those words. And looking back, how many times I've come this close to death, right?
Yeah.
Give you an example. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember one day, super young, I wake up in the middle of the night and we're being robbed. Not in Australia, in Congo. We're being robbed by
Yeah.
a gang of thugs. They've got guns. It's the middle of the night, and there are tortures that are being shown in our faces. I was super young, so it was me and my brothers. We share beds. But I remember this night, and I remember being woken up by the noise because my mum is next door in their bedroom, and she's scared for her life, and can't really make out what she's saying. But they're trying to rob us, and one of my siblings was younger and got woken up in my mum and dad's room and started crying enough that it was loud enough and distressing enough. And, developing nations, the walls are super thin. So if there's a sound coming from the house, you're going to hear it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your
Wow.
neighbors are going to hear it. So the baby crying freaked them out. And I don't know what they were looking for, some kind of money, maybe whatever. But there were quite a few of them. And at some point, I remember I had my eyes shut and I was trying to like half open them and look at trying to see. But I was so scared. And anyway,
Wow.
didn't know what's going on, but I just heard some noises. I heard my mum in distress. I heard my sibling cry. And I'm thinking, holy moly, what's going on? Anyway, sorry. Somehow they left. I don't know how I went back to sleep.
Yeah.
I went back to sleep.
Oh, did
Oh,
you?
the what? I
Man.
didn't know how, right? I should be traumatized like 1,000 times over by so many things.
Yeah,
But I'm telling you
yeah,
just this story.
yeah.
And they were spooked by my sibling who woke up and became even more distressed because mum wasn't getting to whoever it was. Um, and anyway, so we hear news that I think it was the next day or the day after that they got caught, and that a few other places that they'd gone to, if I remember correctly, the people that they were robbing, they killed them. And yeah,
Wow.
so I don't know why they didn't.
Dude, that
I don't
is
know.
God's
Like,
providence.
I don't know. So that's just one incident in my life. And a lot of this happened before I came to Australia, where there are specific incidents I can point to, and even after I came to Australia, where like nothing, I'm not special in any way. I'm not. Because there are many people who went through very similar things to what I've gone through. Been robbed, come from a third world country, were refugees, are waiting for visa. Like the fact I ended up in Australia, I could have ended up anywhere because the way the visa system worked then with refugees is a country just picks you. You got no choice, no control over that. You're just like, hey, we're refugees. We're gonna wait. Some
Mm.
people wait as long as 20 plus years in camps or 30 years in camps waiting for a country to accept them. Right?
No
We
way.
didn't end up.
Really?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know some people who you just wait for your turn. If a country chooses to take you in as refugees and provide you with visas, um, so like we were fortunate enough that we had an uncle who lived in the country we were refugees in, so that we didn't have to spend time in refugee camp
Mm.
because he'd been there for years and and could house us.
Yeah,
Like, how do you come up with this? You can't.
yeah.
How? I should not be alive. I didn't have a plan. None of my family had a plan. Could not orchestrate this. Most other people were going through similar things to what we went through, and like I was a child. There's no I can orchestrate any of this. So when I tell you I should be dead,
Mm.
I have very specific things that I think about that remind me of that. And so, and on the flip side of that, when I'm in ultimatum mode and just going like I've literally found why I was created, which is for Jesus. And the message around me that I'm getting is like, he's not around. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
And then I get this like, oh, what, Jesus is like a, life with Jesus is like a trampoline. Cool, let's jump on that bandwagon because I've had enough suffering. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, man.
oh, and
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
because I don't want the suffering, I don't want it. I've come from it.
I don't
Escaping
think
death.
anyone
However,
I don't think anyone wants suffering, man.
you know, um, and then discovering that God walks with you in the valley of
Mm.
the shadow of death. That's what He's interested
Yeah.
in being close to us.
Yeah.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
He doesn't reset the freaking world.
Yeah.
We're like, no, reset,
Yeah, man.
restart. I don't want cancer.
Yeah.
I don't want whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that. Just reset. He's like,
Mm.
oh, you will work with what we got. I will
Mm.
come into your pain
Mm.
and sit with you in it and
Yeah.
comfort you.
Yeah.
Ugh, bro. Yeah. I say that now with the years that with God that I've had.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, it's get me out of this. Jesus,
Yeah.
just get me out. That's just what I want. And when He doesn't, and you got an idea of love, and you got an idea of God that He's supposed to rescue you, and disappointment that comes with that, and going, what the flip, God? For other people, they turn to different things.
Yeah.
I wasn't smart enough, or whatever, resourced enough, or whatever, to go to these other things, whatever that
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah.
All I knew, I had met God, and I was stuck. And the only
Yeah.
option out was at some point death. I say suicidal ideation.
Mm.
And when Peter says to Jesus, and Jesus says, "Who do you say that I am?" And oh no, it's when Jesus is talking to the crowd, and he's starting to say, "Unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood."
Yeah.
And then the people leave, and he turns to the disciples and he says, "Are you going to leave me too?" When Peter says to him, "Where are we going to go?" I
Mm.
resonate with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got nothing. I got nothing,
Yeah.
Jesus. I just don't have anything.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Yeah.
working. Nothing is going to go my way. I have all these disadvantages. Plus, I don't want the suffering. So,
Yeah.
like, what? What now? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
The boat has
Yeah.
sailed on freaking going to uni to study to make something of myself in my own strength.
Mm.
I just gave you my all, Jesus.
Yeah.
Now here I am.
Mm.
And I'm desperate. So
Yeah.
show up. And he's like, nope. oh, oh, dear Lord. So,
So when did it change? Because obviously you're a father now. You're married now. You have kids now that you're raising.
yeah.
You're a biblical counselor, studying to be a psychologist. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
there's no like day. There's
mm.
the patience of God and the perseverance of God with me. So,
Mm.
a bit like Peter, I can see my impatience. I can
Mm.
see my tunnel vision,
Yeah.
you know. I'm ready
Yeah.
to pull out that sword. You threaten me now, Jesus. Like, bro,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
go. Garden of Gethsemane any day right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there is a fiery side to me that is there. So
Is
It
there?
was gradual. Hey?
Is there? Is there really?
Oh, bro.
I would never have known
Yeah.
that if you didn't just tell me that.
Yeah. In the
Uh,
beginning.
oh, bro.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
dude.
Um, yeah, for sure. There's definitely a fiery side to like, yeah, it's there.
Mm.
And I know you know me as quite quite the other end of that spectrum, pretty
Yeah,
opposite. And
I would say you're meek. You're very meek, you know.
uh,
Maybe I don't know you as well as I thought I did. No. I was just
you
messing
didn't
with
know
you,
I
man.
spoke you didn't know I didn't speak English when I came to
Yeah, I
Australia,
didn't,
so there's
bro.
something
I
to
should ask the question sooner. How long's that
nah,
friendship been?
you know. You think you know someone.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Uh,
But this is good.
so yeah, no, there's definitely a fiery side to me, and um, just as well at the same time though, the way that God has chosen to, and fiery and impatient, right? So the way that God has chosen to work with me has been with patience, with perseverance. Um, it's one of those things where He's reminding me continually, no matter how fast I go, God's going a little bit slower than that. So hold up, stop.
Mm.
There's a reason why, one of my favorite psalms that God has gotten me to just like keep it there is Psalm 100 and 130. Um, I have learned to quiet my soul.
Yeah.
I have learned to quiet my soul. That's not God's job. It's my job.
Mm.
When David is talking, why are you so dissatisfied within me, oh my soul? And there's something to be said about how we uh, present ourselves in front of the Lord. He will take us how we are,
Yeah.
and also not take our responsibility in that. I have learned to quiet my soul.
Yeah.
And then he goes on, like a weaned child, I've learned.
Yeah.
Um, you know, he he gives me Matthew 11, 28 to 30. Come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
Mm.
For my yoke is easy. Learn from me, for I'm humble and lowly of heart. For my
Yeah.
yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come and rest. He's my
Yeah.
shepherd. He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemy. That's not like let's go and freaking smash 1,000 Philippines, 1,000 Philistines.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of passage. It's not
Mm.
the breakthrough will come. It's none of that.
Mm.
Hey, the waters of your soul are restless.
Mm.
They're restless. Peace, be
Yeah.
still, and know.
Yeah.
Like let it go deep inside yourself and know that I am God, not the God that you think I am, because that's not me. That's an idol, and it's not going to lead you to anything good.
Yeah.
It's almost like, can I be me? And
Yeah.
then maybe I've got a better idea about how this is supposed to be.
Mm.
And so he places the Christian gentleman who told me, hey, pay attention. It's not supposed to be like that. It's to prime me, to get me ready for then the mother in the faith who will say, learn to suffer well. It's not just there is suffering, it's another crumb down the road of include suffering and do it well.
Yeah.
And don't be like the children of Israel who were in the desert grumbling. and pushed God,
Mm.
and then wished to be back in slavery. And so it's so dangerous, because that's where it would lead us back to. And Jude says all that stuff about Israel is written as a record so that we can learn from it,
Yeah.
for our instruction. If we don't learn from it, we're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
Um, so he's been so patient, so good, so kind.
Yeah.
You know, um, he's he's fathered me. He's healed wounds that I thought, no, oh, that's just gonna kill me. This one, this one's gonna kill me, Jesus.
Yeah.
The biggest one was the father wound, right? um, you know, I discover God and I start walking with God, and I just have this visceral dislike for my own father. Part of it is teenagehood or whatever. The other part of it is, I don't know, you know. And then it comes up like, dude, you need to get this healed. And you're, you've got a pretty crappy view of God as father because of your own, you know, issues with your own dad. So let's talk about this. And this was a, you know, mainly private conversation with Jesus of the time as he's discipling. And so that happens. And so he starts to take me through this. So I'm reading the book about it, and I'm reading through the Bible and how he's talking about, you know, Israel like a father, you know, like a bore you. He's talking, and I'm seeing the love of God as Father towards Israel. I'm seeing how much Jesus is depending on Father. He's doing all this thing, and I'm just like, I want that.
Yeah.
And so there's breadcrumbs that he drops along the way, and
Mm.
he shows me that though my father was absent in the way that I felt I needed him, that he actually placed other dads, spiritual dads, around me.
Yeah.
And it's this awesome redemptive perspective of God revealing that and kind of going, notice that time, and notice that time, and notice that time. That was me. That's my hand at work. And looking back
Yeah.
when I said, God, take me out of this country or whatever, you know, I look back and I see his hand preserving me, you know, through a robbery so that I could say to Jesus, get me out of here and I'll serve for the rest of my life. And in my unfaithfulness, he remained faithful. When I see that perspective, I go, wow, he's actually been such a good dad to me, like
Mm.
incredibly so. And I would have thrown that out because he didn't show up one afternoon after 2 hours.
Dude. Yeah, man.
You know,
That's what's up.
it, this whole experience afterwards, I would have thrown it out because I didn't have perseverance, but he persevered with me. I didn't have the patience, but he was patient with me. Quiet my soul? Nah, bro. My emotions are like this big. And, you know, my personality is like, if I feel sadness, it's like I feel it. And
Yeah.
it's like deep in there. Because,
Yeah.
you know, we're artists or creatives.
Bro.
So, like, it
Mm-hmm.
comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you talk about a second chance. How about, yeah, I never had a chance without Jesus. I never had it. And I'm only discovering it as I go along that I actually didn't. Nothing.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
nothing. And then I discovered him and I was like, wow, I guess
So
I
good,
can't go
man.
back.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
undone.
Yep. I'm conscious of your time, bro. So I'll let you go. So we'll wrap up. But if you could tie it all up and tell people just a few things about that whole thing you just explained, right? What would you say? How would you how would you tell a person who's been through all that suffering, they might be right there right now? What would you tell them to do? Where would you tell them to go?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of all the scriptures that have been sustenance. Um, because part of the part of what I think and believe and I'm so certain of in how God has preserved me, and I guess mainly that I didn't go insane,
Yeah,
literally, has been the sheer. I have no idea what it is, but once I discovered it, it just and lent into it. And so it's not a me thing, so I'm not taking credit of it. The reason why I'm thinking of scripture is because I discovered how to be nourished by the presence of God through His Word.
yeah,
And so for different seasons, then God would lead me to a scripture which would sustain me, and I would literally, in my spiritual appetite, would be nourished by it. So,
yeah,
so there's a lot of scriptures. There's a lot of scriptures that come to mind as a result of that, as a result
yeah,
of trying to think about what is it.
yeah,
The first one that has kind of popped into mind has been actually there's been two now. Actually, there are two that pop into mind, and it is one's Philippians in chapter 4. Be anxious for nothing. Right. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Oh man, it's not like he asks us to do impossible things, right? Oh man. So and obviously the context of that has in connection with I'm not ashamed of the gospel, and he also he then work out your salvation. He talks about the humility of Christ, have the mind of Christ, and he's then going in the passage because he's suffering, he's in chains, and yet he's like, oh, don't don't worry, don't be anxious,
yeah,
but the don't be anxious makes sense if you see it in the context of that book where he goes, work out your salvation with fear and trembling, because it is God who is at work in you, both to will and do, according to his
yeah,
good pleasure.
yeah,
So there's a partnership in that mystery that he's talking about there. And then he can then boldly say later on, do not be anxious.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Don't be anxious. Because it's God who's working in you both to will and do according to his good pleasure. So don't be anxious because he's doing the work.
mm,
But in everything, with prayer, supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God.
yeah,
So we got a lot of work. You got a lot of suffering. You
mm,
got a lot of prayer. You got a lot of
yeah,
suffering. You got a lot of petition. You got a lot of suffering. You got a lot of thanksgiving. For every breath, there's a book that Timothy Keller recommends, Moment by Moment, by Joanne Moody, who is suffering with chronic pain, and her prayers. She writes about the length it took and what it meant. How do you handle suffering for such a long period of time, especially chronic suffering?
yeah,
Now, I don't have any chronic pain or suffering that I'm dealing with, so her perspective would be helpful because she didn't know whether or not this was going to be healed this side of heaven. But she writes about it moment by moment by moment by moment. How do you deal with suffering? Moment by moment by moment by moment. Man shall not live by bread alone. Even Jesus in his most desperate time, and the devil comes to him, bread looks about good right now. Hey, you're the guy. Turn that bread into stone. Imagine how full your stomach will feel. Whatever tactics he used. Same thing with Eve. The fruit looks good. That Eve convinced herself of. Anyway, so moment by moment by moment by moment, the ever-present, imminent presence of God is with us. Emmanuel. It's got to mean something in our suffering. It has got to mean something. You are with me in the shadow of the valley of death. It's got to mean something. We've got to be connected to Jesus that much so that even if it's for 5 minutes, it's going to make a difference. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known to God. And this is where it gets fun, right? God's at work. And the peace of God, that's what Paul said, the peace of God will guard your heart. He's the guardian. He's at work. Both to will and do according to what is his good pleasure, to be surrounded by his peace. The peace of God which will guard your heart. And I have generally seen that there is a peace that follows presence and connection with God. The peace of God will guard your hearts and minds, by the way, and minds. So you're not going to be tormented by anxiety if you're in prayer and connection and fellowship. In Christ Jesus. In Christ Jesus. He's defeated pain. He's defeated death. He's defeated suffering. It'll guard your heart. It'll take you. You'll be reminded that you are in Christ. That's why he could say in chapter 1, to live is Christ, to die is gain. Win-win.
Yeah.
Of Philippians. Like, to live is Christ, to die is gain. It's win-win. So you'll be reminded, which is an ode to John, chapter 16. The Spirit, when he comes, he will remind you of the truth, of the things that are said to you. My peace I live with you. That's what Jesus says to his disciples, right? And so that peace that he lives with us will guard our hearts and mind in him. In John 15, he tells us, abide in him, in me. For apart from me, you can do nothing. No activity that you do outside of me amount to any fruit that is going to last eternally, or I'm going to want to last eternally. I'm going to keep in my kingdom. So abide. That's your secret. Abide, 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 abide. How? Be anxious for nothing. How do I be anxious for nothing? Prayer, petition, thanksgiving, thank you, Jesus. And the peace of God comes and he guards your heart. And this is what's fun about it. The promises of God. It's like, it's not just a fun intellectual exercise, because God, he says in Psalm 55, my word, I will send it and it will achieve everything I commanded. My word will achieve it, right? The peace of God will guard your heart and mind. You won't always look like that. You don't always feel like it, but God is at work. Will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. And then he goes, now, whatever is true, wherever is not worthy of good. He's like, all of these lovely things. Think about those things.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
So, that's what Paul says. And James, the brother of Jesus, comes in with a banger. I've been listening to this, reading this, meditating on it. James, chapter 1, a servant of God and the Lord Jesus Christ to the 12 tribes of the dispersions. Greetings. And he's just like, let's get into it. Count it all joy, my brothers and sisters, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. Now, to my wonderful, really cool, awesome best friend who was like, hey, I just want to go somewhere, so I can experience persecution.
Yeah.
Is that, it'll come to you. Trials of various kind. What are you going through at the moment? It's what are you going through? What are these causing pressure and pain, tension? What is challenging? What are you having difficulty with? Whatever it is, um, Moses says. Moses says, 80 years life is toil and pain, right? There's challenge. Um, so when you meet trials of various kind, because you know about the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. You know this. You know this. And that's what James is like. You know this. Oh, no.
Mm.
Not only do I not want to know it,
Mm.
I don't want it. The, of various kind. It could be small, it could be big. This is why you should never compare pain, right? This
Yeah.
why it doesn't matter.
It's
Pain is
hard not
pain,
to do, bro. It's hard
right?
not to do in
And
some ways.
yours is bigger than mine, or you just "Ugh,
Or
why
why do
are
they
you
get
suffering?
breakthrough and I don't? Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like
What's that phrase? The comparison is the thief of joy.
yeah, um, yeah. Why did they get their breakthrough? Jesus, it's been a while. I'm back here again. I'm just wondering. And then the next day is like, come on, God, like seriously, start to bargain. The next
Yep.
day you go, all right, God, I gave you 3 days. Jig is up. You're joking, point made. I was a
Yep.
little bit angry the other day. No, I'm not coming with jealousy. I'm coming with, please. And
Yep.
then you keep on waiting. And this is the thing is that the waiting tests us in a way where uh, hopefully as we learn to surrender, Christ is revealed in us.
Yep.
That's a journey. Um, Count it all joy when you meet trials of various kind, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing.
Yep.
So if you lack wisdom, ask God, who gives generously,
Mm.
um, without reproach, right?
Yep.
And that reminds me of Moses' psalm, where I quoted from, I think it's 83 or 87, and he goes, what is life? What is man's life? It's 80 so years of suffering, right?
Mm.
That's what he says. Life is what? It's years of suffering, 80 years of suffering. And then he says something really interesting. He goes, Lord, teach us to number our days, because
Yep.
then we'll gain a heart of wisdom.
Yeah.
So that we may gain a
Yeah.
heart of wisdom. That's what this reminds you. If you lack wisdom, so steadfastness is going to happen so that you may be perfect, lacking in nothing. But if you lack wisdom on how to navigate this
Mm.
hard, grinding road, this road of pain, of suffering, of pressure, of being torn apart, of being tested, your faith going through, it might not be as my experiences were of whatever, but your pain is your pain. Your pain matters.
Yep.
So if you need wisdom, God gives generously to all without reproach. He's not going to hold you yesterday. He'll be
Yep.
like, we're just going to take off the, extra bit of wisdom today. You get 80% wisdom for today. Um, it's like no, He's given us all things that pertain to life and godliness freely. It's there so that we might be able to live a godly life. He doesn't withhold. He didn't withhold his son.
Yep.
That's enough.
Yep.
He didn't withhold his son.
Yep.
He didn't. We're gonna be okay.
Yep. On that note, mic drop.
Yeah.
Nah, thanks so much, man.
No worries. I'm
I
fairly
I
excited about your
really,
podcast.
yeah, man.
Congratulations.
This has been, I was really excited about this, man.
Yeah, me
100% I
too.
was. You know,
I miss podcasting,
this
so
stuff
thanks for
matters,
the
bro.
opportunity.
This stuff
Yeah.
matters. So I just want to say thank you, man. I love you, bro, and
Thanks for the
what you
opportunity.
shared.
Love you, bro.
And I learnt some things about you tonight, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's always a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's I like to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, well, you did. But nah, seriously, man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you. And
All right. Thanks for the opportunity.
I want to mention though,
Mm.
where can people find you if they want to like follow your stuff? I know that you like to write. So
Yeah.
do you want
So,
people to know that or not? I mean, it's up to you what you want to share, bro. It's up to you what you want to share. You
bro,
know what I'm
it's
saying? But
already public. What am I
yeah,
in?
well, that's what I'm saying.
No. I have a Substack. I forget what it's called, but um, yeah, I've got an Instagram, and then I think you
Yep.
can go through to my Substack through that
What I'll
podcast Instagram.
Okay.
So
Well, what I'll do is I'll get the link and then I'll put it in the show notes if
yeah,
people want to reach out to
easy
you and
peasy, easy
ask you
peasy.
questions, but not flock
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? You know.
Oh,
But yeah.
look, I'm not going to be answering everybody. I'm on assignment.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
It takes me a long time. What I advocate for is for people to, hey, you got questions, stuff that was raised up, and you're like, I need more answers, whatever. Agreed, disagreed with stuff that I
Yeah.
said, or wherever you need to extrapolate it.
Yeah.
Take it to your local church. You're not supposed to do this alone.
Yeah.
What has been important to me in faith is going. My fiery side comes in when there are attacks on the body of Christ
Yeah.
as if to dismiss her,
Yeah.
because that's easy to do.
Yeah.
And can you have valid criticisms? Yes, I have them. We've talked,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All the while, I know very much Jesus has not given up on the church. He's not come up with a plan freaking B or C.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah. For sure.
And I'm like, that's where I get fiery. Like, what do you mean? I ask a few more questions and then go like, yeah, like, bro, you wouldn't
Yeah.
rock up at my wedding and start dissing my wife and think that I'm going to be just stand there and be like, hey, yeah, you know what? Let me jump on that bandwagon as well. No
I
flipping
love
way.
it, bro. Yeah,
No
brother.
flipping way.
Yeah. Straight up. Straight up.
Bro, talk about getting fiery. I'm like, yes, have your comments. That's fine. But at the end of the day, he's not done. He's not done. He's not done with the church. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's this. I've moved to a new church community recently, and I don't know if I said it to you. It felt gross to me to be in a position where I would be thinking about other people who are trying to follow Jesus as imperfectly as I am
Yeah.
with a critical eye. It's gross. Does that mean people are sinful and need to grow? And biblically, there are rebukes for different non-Christian, non-Christ representing behavior. Yes, and
Yeah.
it's in the church, and it's
Yeah.
being exposed globally, right?
Yep. Yep.
Freaking
Yep. Oh,
pedophiles
bro,
and
that's a
right,
podcast number two.
and
That we could come back.
spiritual abuse, right? Yeah, so it's all been it's all out there.
Hmm.
It didn't make Jesus come back sooner.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know these people were in there.
Yep. Yep.
So anyway, there's the fire.
Sweet, bro. Awesome. Well, we're gonna end it here.
Anyway,
But
hey,
again, bro, thank you so much. I love you,
good
man,
stuff.
and
Good stuff. Second
this has been
chance.
great. It's awesome.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.